With me here. Oh, that's me. All right, got it. Okay, now I just got to check the mic. We're going to do a mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me? I'm going to YouTube to make sure we're good there as well. With me here. Okay, let's cut the audio off here. Problem. Now you can probably hear me. Now, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. Problem. Now you can probably hear me. Now, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1. Problem. Now you can probably hear me. You guys can hear me now. Now, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. Let me cut this all the way down. Then we're gonna have all our technical difficulties worked out. 1, 2, 3. All right, so let me put up on the screen. Now, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. Let me cut this all the way down. Then we're gonna have all our technical difficulties worked out. All right, so let me put up on the screen. Seems like a delay here. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. Let me cut this all the way down. Then we're gonna have all our technical difficulties worked out. All right, so let me put up on the screen. Seems like a delay here. Is that YouTube doing that? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, I got to turn this up again. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me? 1, 2, 3. There may be a long delay here. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? All right, this is a problem. I'm gonna have to join it with the audio here, and that's probably gonna make it squeak. Yep. So let me disconnect the audio. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. It shouldn't be doing that now. I've disconnected the audio. 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. All right. As soon as we get someone else on, I'll be able to make sure that you guys can hear me as well. It appears to be a delay, but at least I have the laptop up and running. So let's get to it. All right. Because we are recording, I want to get right to it. So let me start showing my face here. There we go. All right. Good, good, good. So today is the fourth Saturday in July. Every fourth Saturday is our A through E summit. What that means is all the last names that begin with the alphabets A through E. This is when we have a conversation about what we got done in the last 30 days. So it's a review of sorts. It allows us to give updates on things that happened since the last summit, which was June 24th. So we'll be circling back on all the things that we got done since June 24th. And we'll be talking about what we're going to do before the next summit, which is Saturday, August 26th. So that's kind of where we are. For those who don't know, I'm the founder, Cy Smith. Been at this for a very, very long time. We have always done these summits in person. At the COVID, we kind of gave us this opportunity to do what we're doing now, which is electronic remote way of still connecting with our people. So what I'm going to do here, this is the agenda. I'm going to read the agenda real briefly, and then I'm going to put up the actual slide, and I'm going to start giving descriptions. Throughout today, people will be jumping on, giving their 5-minute briefs, and we'll have some breaks built in as well. So let me first zoom in so you guys can see. That's today's date, Saturday, July 22nd, 3 to 5 p.m. We open up, we do our roll call, we do the good news report, what happened that's good. We go through the rural towns and why that matters so much. We get into our safety and young person section. We go through the violence levels, what's been happening on the violence end. We deal with our missing persons and vacant buildings, talk about that. We move into our economics and our construction. We go through our spending reports. That's the name you're for. We go through our construction projects, anything we have there. We get into education. We get into our career linkages with the schools. We get into the awards. We get into the health. That's also food. And then we get into the final part, which is our policies that we are trying to influence or go against, our legal, which is also our way of holding ourselves accountable and the people who say they represent us. We get into the report cards on our government officials who we pay salaries to. We pay their pensions when they retire. They're not off the hook when they retire. They're collecting a pension for a part-time job and a pension that's better than your pension working full-time. We also get on the laws that's on the books, which I can just tell you right now, we're going to be talking about sanctuary cities. We think we got to get those laws off the books, and voter registration. Then we go close it out with open session. You guys have anything you want to talk about, you can chime in. We're going to talk about the Gary, Indiana conventions. That's a big deal. Then we go close it out with the Saturday, August 26th, which is the next one that we'll be doing. Okay. All right. So now let me post what we're about to do right now, which is Mississippi. We'll get that posted up. All right, this should come up first. This is going to give me a moment to, let's make this bigger here. I want you guys to see this. And let's make sure we stop the screen. Okay. So what you're looking at right here is, it says Chicago Summit on there. But for those who may not know, what we do is a summit in every neighborhood. So every neighborhood has their own summit. However,
the national summit is what we're doing right here. And with the national summit, that's when we ask everybody to participate, whoever last name it is, from all around the world. So this is a little bit different than the Memphis summit, the Detroit summit, the Milwaukee summit. All of those summits are important for their cities, but this is the one when we ask everybody to come on based on their last name. So that's the difference between this summit and the other summits. Now, for those who may not know, National Block Club University have a structure, which is all of those zip codes I just described. What the introduction is with the zip codes, which I probably need to do that now, but I go through this first. But our zip codes represent all of our territories where we physically reside at, and the um, system, which is the way we want to operate, the things we want to do, is based on what you see here called CATS. And CAT stands for conventions, awards, uh, tours, summit, and that's what we believe is going to turn Black America around. When we have conventions happening every single weekend in Gary, Indiana, that gives everyone a reason to travel. It deals with boredom. When people are sitting around bored, not growing and learning and meeting new people, we think that's a problem. And this helps us to address that problem of boredom. The awards is our way of dealing with trauma, because the key with the awards is it allows us to find reasons to love on our people, to recognize what they've done. So that's what the awards give us. It's appreciation awards. It's the same. It's us showing love to each other. And then the T is for our egos that we have to deal with. And the egos is my organization, my group, my versus we. Well, with the tours, it allows us to pick 12 neighborhoods and literally go around these neighborhoods and do me. But by doing me and doing it on tour, it allows other people to hear and learn about what God is giving you to do. So it's a very good way of spreading what you've already done, but doing it in a way so it's going to get around the whole city. All right, here we go. All right, the last one is today, the summit. So what we're doing right now is the summit, and the summit is our accountability. Summit is when we see if we're gonna be accountable for what we did the last 30 days. And so that's how I see that. So anyway, here's the challenge for those who are watching saying, where is everyone at? I'm going to read to you the roll call so that way you'll know who we are expecting. And again, the way it's set up, we've asked leaders to come on during their time frame, not all at once. And the reason for that is so we can get real production done. That's the goal, is to get real productivity done, not just have a lot of people on a Zoom. So up first in the roll call is 606 12 zip code. That's Byron Dickens. So hopefully Byron Dickens will get on because his last name is within the A through E time frame. We got 60623, which is Eric Strickland, last name S. Not expecting him to get on. That's North Lawndale. 60624 is Sandra Brinson. So hopefully Sandra will get on. I did reach out to Sandra and Jerome. 60639 is Tiffany Taylor. So last name T, not expected to get on. 60644 is Jennifer Price. Last name P, not expecting her to get on. 60651 is Jerome Altman. So I am expecting Jerome Altman to get on. We'll see if he actually gets on. So Sandra Brinson and Byron Dickens and Jerome Altman are three West Side superstars we hope will be getting on. Moving on to the South Side, we have zip code 60609, Ken Atwood. We are hoping Ken gets on here. We have 60620, Frances Newman. She is last name Ian, so we're not expecting her to get on, but we are expecting her district leader, Pam Dominguez, to get on 606 20. 60621 is Miss Freeman. Chastity Freeman, she's up next month. F through K is next month. This is A through E, so we're not expecting her to get on. We are expecting 60629. Um, oh no, that's Deborah Pryor, so we're not expecting no one from Deborah Pryor's team to get on. That's 60629, 60636. In regards to the governors, Denise King. So Kay, she's up next month. And then the district leaders is Peters. So we're not expecting Peters to get on. We do have Patricia Cunningham. She's our village mayor. But I'm not expecting her to get on. So we shouldn't have anyone in 3-6 representing. Um, then 60652 is Brittany. Brittany is getting on. She'll be on tail end around 420 or so. Moving on to the east side of Chicago, 60615 zip code is Joe Merles. Last name M, not expecting him to get on. 60617. We have this is Chrissy Williams area, but it's Catherine Barnes as well. She's our face you see right there. Let me slide that over so you guys can see her face there. All right. Then we have, so we are Kathy Barnes, Karen Barnes. 60619 is Erica Dunn. Erica Dunn, we are expecting her to get on here real shortly. She's one of the first ones up at 3:15, so she should be queuing in any minute now. And then 60628 is 4 o'clock is our brother Charles Robinson. He'll be tapping in at 4 o'clock. That's his regular time, so we're expecting him at 4. And then Charles Robinson, Erica Dunn. Then we have 60637. That is Claudette Reddick. Last name begins with the alphabet R, so we're not expecting her on. So that's a no for 37. 60643. We don't have anyone in that zip code, so we're not expecting anyone in that zip code to get on. Then we have 60649, Rachel Lindsay, last name L, so we're not expecting her to be on. And then the last one, 60653, Jade Calhoun, Cross French. We are expecting her to get on at the tail end around 3:35. This 445, 345. I mean 445 or 435. One of those two times she'll be getting on. All right. So did the roll call. We won't do the national roll call, even though Shabilla Adams out of Dallas, we're hoping that she'll get it on. So now we move on to the good news report. And now that we did the roll call, and what I would say the good news is, and I can pull this down. Yeah, we'll leave that up for now. But I would say the good news is we got through June, and I want to say I was disappointed we didn't get the 1,000 people sending $1 before the Super Bowl, which is always the 4th of July weekend. That's our most deadliest time. So I was a little disappointed in that, but this is the good news report. And so the good news is out of that, what came out of that is some key people felt guilty and since then have really stepped up in terms of helping to reach out to people. And so I love the post disappointment. So we had a disappointment, but the post disappointment, and ultimately, what we're dealing with is way bigger than us because we as Black people have to build that muscle up. That $1 is easy, and that we complete the easy. Like we got to do the easy. If we can't do the easy, we're not ready for anything harder. And so that's the good news. Also, good news is we got the financials together, so we've been able to look at 2022, where the money came in. That we got the thank you annual report finished. We're going to go to print and get that mailed out to all our donors for 2022, thanking you guys properly for your support to keep us going last year. So that I'm really excited about that because that's a lot of administrative burden that's been completed, and now we're gonna get that in the hands of our people and thank them for what they did. The other good news is with the children being out of school, we have our young people out enjoying life for the next 2 weeks or so, and so we're gonna try to work with them to get them ready to get back in the grind and get ready for the best school year before, or how do I say it? We want them to know that this school year is going to be different because of how strong things are looking at when they get out of school next year. I don't know how we go frame that, but that's what the feeling is that they're going to be safer and they're going to feel the love when the businesses latch arms with them based on their profession, when the funding starts to follow them around, where they got money for all these programs that they want to participate in. So I feel good about the young people going to school this go round. All right. So let's go to, now we're going to switch over here, and I'm going to put up to you guys Mississippi, and we're going to talk about the great state of Mississippi. All right, give it a minute. It should be popping up here in a moment. Okay, here we go. Mississippi, Mississippi. So what we're looking at here is the report that highlights what the goal is, and it talks about the last 3 months. So in June, what we was focused on; in July, what we're focused on; and even next month. So right now, as you can see, we did not get the police chiefs that we wanted to get on board for the convention we just did last week. The goal since the beginning of the year was to find out all the A through E police chiefs, F through K police chiefs. We mailed out to some in Mississippi and didn't get a response back, and saw how much labor intensive that was going to be to keep mailing out and then having to call each one. And every one of those calls that we reached out to, it was call back on this day, call back. So unless you're going to be having someone designated to do all that follow up, we really didn't have the capacity to call back any other time than when we had set aside time to call back. So for that, I'm going to say we tabling that, and we'll see how that goes next year, because every July is when we do our convention. So the police convention. So that's what happened with Mississippi. We have 108 towns in Mississippi. So altogether, 108 police chiefs we wanted to invite to Gary, Indiana for the police convention. We have our condolences to the Evans family down there in Mississippi. Donald Evans was a pioneer, a legend, and our superstar in Mississippi, Memphis. Now I think she's in South Haven, Mississippi. Keisha Ross. She introduced us to Mr. Evans. He made his transition, but the mark he left was tremendous. I had many conversations with Mr. Evans, and because his last name is E. Evans, and this is A through E, we want to call his name and recognize him right now for the contributions he made in Mississippi, Mount Bayou to be specific. All right. Also, as you can see here, Clinton, Mississippi, and Jackson, Mississippi came on board. Jackson kind of been there, but we got some new energy there. Sister Lily, retired school teacher. Then we got our new queen, Miss White. So we're gonna make certain that they get to know each other down in Mississippi. And as you can see, what I put inside of August, I'm going to be paying a visit down there in north southern Mississippi in late September, and northern Mississippi in early October. God's will, I'll be able to get down there and break bread with you, wonderful people, Mississippi. For those who don't know, Mississippi is important because it's the blackest state in the whole United States of America. No other state is close to being 40% African American. And just so you know why that matters so much, we literally have 7 states 90% white. So think about that. Not one state 40% black, 7 states 90% white. So we need some parity, and Mississippi is the closest one to get there. So that's why Mississippi matters such a big deal to us. All right, so right here is the rule reports. So Ocala, Florida is a part of what we do. I'm off in Mississippi, so if you guys have any thoughts, just put it in the chat box. Um, so Ocala, Florida is part of in rural America. It's in Florida, and they are responsible. We gave them the responsibility of being our headquarters for all young people resumes. That's 18 years old and under. So in doing that, that's going to put a lot of people in Ocala to work because there's a lot of young people by zip code, by cities. And if we're doing the resumes, we got to update the resumes. So that should put and have us open up 7 offices in Ocala, Florida to manage all 7 regions in America. And our $1 is how we're going to finance that, pulling our money together so that we can have these jobs created so young people can perform, gain experience, and have it documented in a structure and system that's going to not forget. All right. So that's, and of course, we got, Whitehall, Alabama. That's Black Bucksport, South Carolina. That's part of rural America. Bucksport is our intake center, so they're going to have 7 offices there. That's going to process all our new people. Going to go to Bucksport for processing. Then it'll go over to Ocala if they got young people for the resumes. So we're taking small rural places and giving them national responsibilities, and the money is going to follow that to put our people to work in those jurisdictions. So let's take a break here. We're going to come back at 3:30. All right, everyone, your host, Cy Smith, coming to you again. And now I just been made aware that my links are not working. And that will explain earlier today why no one got on the trucking convention. And that is a problem. That is a real problem because I'm not going to pay the bill if I can't get what I'm paying for. So anyway, I'm going to type this in manually, and this is going to take me a minute. I do apologize to everyone watching that I had to do this administrative thing, but we're going to put this on T-Mobile because I shouldn't have to do manual. I did all this before the meeting started, so that's very disappointing that I got to do this. So bear with me here. We're getting ready to talk about violence, um, and we got a lot to say about that because the killing is just continuing, and the sad thing is we got to live our way out of this, and we got people pushing narratives that's going to have us barking up the wrong tree again. So let me get to the violence and read to you guys what we're dealing with. So we had 73 people shot, 13 died during the most deadliest weekend in Black Chicago, and we knew that a lot of people had time off, and we knew what that meant in terms of a lot of time on their hands and what that could mean violence wise. We believe that 1,000 people giving $1 holds the key, because what that does, it ensures that we got 1,000 people who bring different things to the table, and we can, from those 1,000 people, we can take the census to know how many of them are ex-police, how many of them are ex-military, how many of them are teachers, tutors, how many of them are social workers. By having 1,000 people do $1, it does the financial utility of pulling us together. But more importantly, what it does, it allows us to do the census to see what are we working with. What are we working with in terms of experts in their field and crafts? If we don't do the $1 and we just ask for experts, once we get the people, then we're going to debate and try to figure out what to do next versus having $1,000 already that can easily increase to $5,000. That's the key. We need to be fighting the mistrust we have by putting the money up front. And that's essentially what this boils down to. So let's see if we can get our sister Jade in here. I did text her, so we'll see since my link isn't working. And maybe the link isn't working because I'm on here. I might need to get off. So we'll see. Real troubling, though. Real troubling that it's not working. Let's see here. So we'll see. All right, good. It is live and it's working. Okay, so again, going back to the violence, I'm gonna go through real quick the cities so we can kind of be on the same page in terms of why the urgency is such great deal to us. Chicago, I just went over those numbers. Milwaukee, their murders are unfortunate. They had 9 children shot in a 1 week period. Philadelphia, um, one of the famous guy's son was murdered yesterday in Philadelphia, along with bloodshed almost every single day. Memphis murders look like it's gonna top last year murders. DC, same thing. Um, um, Detroit, St. Louis, East St. Louis, you name it. And for all of our viewers, what I want you guys to walk away with knowing what we feel. And when I say we, me as the chief executive, that the key to the black violence, we don't purport to have the solution to all violence. We are focused on what's happening to black people. So that's what we are very knowledgeable about. And so for black people and the violence that we're dealing with, it's really focused on habits, schedule, and network. HSN. What do we do habitually, meaning second nature? How we use time with our schedule, and then who's in our network? Who are we around? HSN is key for the stopping this violence out here. Now, what you hear now the Democratic Party in particular, which is over all these inner cities where the violence is off the charts, what you hear from them is more violence interrupters. It's about jobs. You hear them talk about it's about mental health. And I would say this to those arguments: all of that stuff can have a place. So all of it could be true. But what we're not talking about is the profiteering off of black people. So if you give everyone mental health, you still got this predator in the corner that's profiting off of black demise, whether it's the rappers and giving them contracts to push Black Death and celebrate Black Death, whether it's the normalization of putting Ukraine, Syrians, and other peoples ahead of black people, saying we can't afford reparations, but we giving SSI to Syrians when they had to bring Syrians here, Ukrainians, now undocumented people coming over the border. So when you do that to a group of people, you're going to have some psychological and mental, spiritual anger, dissidence, people upset, angry, and not giving a F. That's what's going to happen. And so it's paramount that during that season that we have our own version of insulation, our own version of being there for each other. And doing for self is key. Doing for self is the antidote for that because it makes us operate as a village. And so when all our groups out there getting outside money, go ahead, get that money. But please know, until we pull our own money together, we're not going to have that village feeling of look at what we did. Not look at what they did, look at what we did. That's the village mindset. So when we talk about safety, please wrap your brain around the raw fact is we must do for self. We must be able to pool our dollars together and take care of our own. So as some of you guys knew, Friday, June 30th was our deadline. That was the day before the Super Bowl when it comes to anti-violence Super Bowl, because we know the 4th of July is the deadliest weekend. The next deadliest weekend coming up is Labor Day. So that's in September. So we got the dog days of August of a lot of warm weather and frustration and hopelessness and despair. We're going to do what we can to get those 1,000 people pulling the $1 together. We think that holds the key for us. Those 1,000 people operating as a village. All right. So I'm gonna wrap up this segment here. So what we're gonna do again is we're gonna work on 1,000 people. That's 4 groups of 250 people pulling together $1. That form of unity and agreement is gonna allow us to do some big stuff. All right. Let me take my do not disturb off because that might be. Oh, it's not on. Hmm. All right. Let's put Wi-Fi on there. Let's see if that helps push these messages through, because we should have had some other people on here by now. All right. So now we're going to come off of safety. We're going to move over to missing persons. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you, we just had the situation with the young, I think she's 25 years old, young lady in Hoover or Bessemer, Alabama, not that far from Birmingham. And from what it looks like, it could be that she wasn't being as truthful. And I say this: if she was not being truthful, I want to know why, because that is not typical black behavior. I know we got the Jussie Smollett, but that's just not typical black behavior. So I want to know who just joined us.
Jade.
What's going on, superstar Jade?
Hello, hello.
I wish we could see your face, but I take your voice as a backup.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I wasn't getting those links, so it's okay.
So you can, I recorded it, it's on YouTube, so you'll be able to catch up. But right now we're in the safety side, so you're not able to see anything, right?
No.
Yeah. So it's live on Facebook, on YouTube. So it's on my wall on YouTube, so you'll be able to see that part. But right now we on the safety slide, and we was talking about missing persons. So you heard about the young lady in Bessemer and Hoover, Alabama, Carly, I believe her name is.
Carly.
Yeah. So I was just saying for our people, when it comes to missing persons, because we're block by block, we want to make certain that from a vacant lot perspective, vacant housing perspective, we know and we write down the vacant houses where a person could be. That anyone that see a van that is closed in that you can't see inside, that they write down that van, the location, and the license plate number, and text it to me 312 area code 405-8844, because we have a database of all those vans that purport to be working vans, but we know that could be a van that can house someone that they're kidnapping. So we want anyone doing work in our neighborhood to know we are tracking you if you have a van that we can't see on the inside. And so when people come up missing, the key for us is to make sure that they're not on our block. Like if someone is missing, cover your home base first. What do you think about that?
I like that idea. And it's something like that we can do so, we can eventually get to the bottom of it, especially like knowing um what's registered to have sent.
hmm Yeah. And if you're trafficking a person across state lines or along boundaries and whatnot, this is where us being more closely connected matters. So if I see a new girl on the block, new face, for black people, we don't like getting in people's business. We don't like being nosy. But where does she come from? Is she being trafficked? We don't know, right? And the beauty with us, we got the legitimate excuse that every black person we meet, every black person we see, we want to know their last names so we can let them know the last name solution. We want to let them know about the name your four black businesses each month. We want to know if they're a nurse, teacher, doctor, so we can link them with other nurses, teachers, and doctors. So it's the excuse for us to talk to that person. And of course, whoever kidnapping her, they're not gonna want us to say a word to him. So what do you think about that?
Mm, okay.
Yeah. But what I should have did, I apologize for that. Jay, tell our people who are you and what you just did. Then we'll get back to the safety part. But who are you and where you just came back from?
Where I came back from?
I just saw you in DC, right?
No, sorry, you got those are AI pictures.
Get out of here. I got fooled
Those
by AI.
you got fooled by AI, and if you click on the picture at the bottom, it says AI. Yes.
You know what? I got to do that. I got to go look at that because how did like you did like how did that process work? You created it and AI took it over? Like how did you do it?
Those are my photos. I put my actual real photos, no filters or anything, in AI, and they populated characters that look like me. So I have some in suits. So you can't afford a photo shoot right now. Put your pictures in AI, and you can have a whole photo shoot.
I don't know if I like that, Jay.
It's people who don't. It's a very controversial tool that's out there right now.
So you wasn't in D. Have you been to DC?
I've been to DC, but it's been years. When I was actually in college, I was in DC, but I've gone to DC, but no.
Yeah, because I was
But
going. Oh, go ahead.
I did get invited for an internship for Dick Durbin's the U.S. Senate. So yes,
Excellent.
that's still something
Yeah,
big. It's
because
still
I was lining
associated.
up because we got Jade Polly out there. She's a teacher. I was lining her up. We got Kim bookend out there. We got Brother Muhammad. I'm like, I'm finna link her with all of them while she out there. And here this is, I'm being fooled.
Oh my goodness! And then I told Jamaica,
Yeah, we
like,
ain't talking about it.
oh, she's supposed to
Wow.
let you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I did. Yes, the graduation picture was also AI.
So you
Okay.
guys watching, you're seeing firsthand the impact because that definitely got me off kilter. And even while we talking about missing persons, that could be a problem because look how you can fool someone.
Mm.
And they got your voice too, right? I heard where they calling people that sounded just like your children, you know?
Mm.
So we gonna leave that to Pierre Clark, our tech guys, so they can come up with what we need to do safety wise to prevent and be real careful that we're not getting food like you just got me.
Yeah, and then cybersecurity is another thing that is there. Those jobs are growing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I'm interested in. So yes, I'm a techie. I love the new technology. There are benefits, however, there are some things that can be alarming, even with using some of these apps. So
Yeah, yeah, big time, big time. And so the reason I wanted to bring up you being in DC next month, every August, our tour is in Washington, DC. So I was saying you was there, we're gonna be there next month, and it's for the whole month. So any of our people who are already there, we want to make sure they lock in with the people I just described to you that's already living there, so that way they can meet each other and whatnot.
are they going to be in person?
So it's a multitude. Now we back we used to physically take the Chicago teenagers, rent vehicles and go. uh we no longer had the finance to do it that way now. So now it's more or less who is already on their way, and since they're on their way, we're gonna roll out the red carpet and make certain that our people that's already there will host, meet them, and break bread, connect them with our black businesses there, things of that nature. So it won't be, I personally will go, but we're not taking any young people with us right now.
Okay, well, I that's somewhere I want to be.
Yeah,
So with
well,
that, you know, let me know what that looks like. I'm grown now, so I can
that's
figure it out.
I, and we're gonna talk about the next segment when we get to the money part. This is what we want to pay for. Like this is part of what the dollar is for. Travel. That's a big part of it. Almost 40% is for travel because if we're moving around and we're getting people to move around, that's less time in the devil's workshop. It's less time being idle on the corner. Now you're preparing to go somewhere. We think that's a critical component nationally for our people. So we'll see if we can get this dollar movement really ramped up. Then we'll have the money to be on the go.
Okay, perfect.
All right, let's do this. Let's switch over here now. So now let's bring up the next section that we had to go over, which is economics. So the every Wednesday agenda is centered around allowing us to, without a leader, pool our dollars together without no central leader, just us agreeing not to give our money to people who, you know, might not care about our struggle. And so at the end of each month, the way we hold ourselves accountable is we ask, can we name 4 black businesses? You know, it's that simple that you personally spend money with. And in the event that you can't name 4 that you personally spend money with, we have something called send five, and that's just sending $5 to specific businesses so that you at least you can say that you named 4. Did you know that, Jade?
Yes, I did, and I have a few already.
Woohoo! Well, get read them to them because the benefit when you name them, other people get to know about them and go there and spend money as well. So if you don't mind, what's your 4 for June?
Okay, my first one is it was Pookie's Crack Cakes. That was the most recent one. Um, yeah, I went there. The lemon cake, the strawberry lemon cake was really good. I thought my favorite is always like Sakatumi cake, so I thought the praline was gonna be my favorite.
Mm,
But it tastes like eating an Italian ice. Yeah.
wow.
So yeah, it's really good. And
Did you
then
meet the
I
owner?
also sorry.
Did you meet the owner?
I seen her the first time I went in there. I did not introduce myself because my son and I was trying to figure out what we wanted.
Well, her husband is Doug, and Doug used to work with us at Willis Tower. So if you're going there, her husband is Doug. You could just bring say, Doug, you know Syed, he should remember me.
Okay, I will, cause he and TJ then formed a thing. So he said he might smuggle him a Oreo cake. So yeah, so I will next time I go in there. I will patronize it, and just like if I have like an event or something, can go in and get a Pookie's crack cake and serve it up. Yep.
Excellent, excellent.
Um, that's only one.
Uh-huh.
The other
So
one, they have an organization, but getting services from them. Um, it's Angel. She has Golden Angel Management. That's actually a business. Um,
that's for
and
profit,
then
not non-for-profit, right?
yeah, Golden Angel Management. If you need to any help with bringing sales in, or you need business consulting, she's the person to go to. She's very dependable. She really, really holds you accountable for the goals that you set with her.
Hmm.
And she's just super awesome. Sarita Love as well. She has Success Matchmaker coming up, so she's getting ready to take on clients that are looking to broaden their name branding. Going out for TV commercials or radio interviews, speaking events. Like if you have something that you're working on that can use corporate connection, that's the person to go to as well. So
Now, how we
those
reach
are
these people? How do we reach them? They got websites or phone numbers? How do we get to them?
so Angelica Jones on Facebook is the owner of Golden Angel Management. So you can look it up on, you could Google both of the names of the ladies. And also Facebook is the avenue that I contact with them most. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, and then Kelly, Kelly Crosby from the Insurance Exchange, she also provided me with services this week.
So, what is that? Just insurance exchange. What does that mean?
It's an insurance company. So she helps finding business insurance,
Okay.
and she's also she has a drone company. So I was doing some referring for her this week.
Oh, that's a big deal. Now you slip that in secondary. She has a drone company. That's
Yes.
technology. So talk about that. Like, what does she do?
So she is working on her license right now, finishing up her hours, so that she can fly the machines to capture footage. And her ultimate goal is to provide something for the kids through drones. Yep,
Well, Pierre Clark is going to be on Cloud Nine when I link you, so you can link her to him. That's one of our IT gurus, and him and a couple of other people that would love to hear that. That young people sound like she's young is in that arena dealing with technology like that. So I'm gonna make sure you get connected.
absolutely. Yep. So
So
those are my four.
now, is it fair to say because that's July? Now we can only we naming them for last month. So in the event, and I want to put this up so people can see, this here is some of the industries to jar your memory. Hair. Who did your hair? Did you buy products? That's one that people typically name they for with alkaline water, any other health products. Did you buy that? Did you work on your car, tire, or just getting it washed? What about home repairs? What about insurance, daycare, soap, food, both in and dine out, music, shows, printing, or anything dealing with entertainment lounges. So as you can see here, this jars the memory so we can name our four. Okay. In the event that we can't name our four, and it happens, we get it, it happens. Send five is a way of us still being able to be serious about this name your four. And this is it right here. So this tells us, and this is last month, what we do to help people is we select a different business and we say, can you just send $5 to them? You don't want nothing. You're just gonna bless them with $5. And the purpose of this is so that you can name your four. Like that's the root of it. Is if you already can name your four that you spent and bought products with and services, then you can ignore the send five. But if you only did three and you need one more, then you go to this list and you pick one, and we have their electronic signature to Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, Venmo, whatever, and you could just send them the $5, no questions asked. Just say, I wish you well, and send them the money. And we take turns. So as you can see, it rotates. So literally, we got the whole year planned out on which industries we're gonna just send money to if we can't name our four. What do you think about that?
Okay. I like that. And then also I like Wednesdays as well. And I actually have told a few people this past month about what Wednesdays are for. And it was something my grandma was like, why didn't you tell me that a long time ago?
Now your girlfriends you just named, they, as you can see, the fourth Wednesday group, they're right there under sales or marketing. You see that?
Okay.
So you can see when we'll be asking people to just send them five in case they don't procure their services, at least support them. And that's what month. Can you see that? Is it too small?
I can't see it all. So
Oh, dang, that's right. I'm thinking you're looking at it. So December is when our sales or marketing people, we just bless them. And our philosophy is to get 1,000 people to move as one. So if 1,000 people sending you $5 and it's just $5 from them, that's a pretty penny to get for absolutely nothing but other than encouragement to keep going. What do you think about that?
I like that idea. Look, I could use it sometimes too. Keep going.
See, that's it. That's the whole point. Like this is us sharing and taking care of us with no burnout.
Yeah.
With no burnout because it's rotating. And then what about me? Look on the list and you'll see when it's your industry's turn. We got it all mapped out. So it allows us to share. And that's the key is how we share with one another. So I like this in that regard. So uh,
Absolutely.
let me put this out because now it's time for us to talk about construction. And construction for Black America is a problem right now. We're in the middle of the federal government spending so much money on roads, bridges, construction boom, and Black people nationwide is letting other people make more money than we are making. And that is a continued problem that we had to fix. And it's a multi-pronged problem. It's a problem with our pipeline, meaning where our future roofers, painters, plumbers, carpenters, bricklayers, welders, where's the future? Who's out there preparing them? Who's out there promoting to them so that they can want to do it? And once we got those who want to get in the industry, where's our protection for them? Because if they want to do it, but they worrying about street tribes and getting shot, they're carrying the gun. Now they get a record. Now a barrier just been introduced to them. So you got to inspire them. You got to protect them. Then you got to guide them so that they can become it. What do you think about that, Jake?
I think that is a very, especially working with the kids, because you can have kids that's interested, well, the youth, I'm not going to say kids, but you can have youth that's interested in participating in a certain program, but because that's across state line, they can't come. So I think that's very important to put in, put in the forefront. How are we going to protect them to do this around the city of Chicago?
And what's really sad, I would literally watch with my own two eyes, Hispanics and others come on the block, cut grass, do the roof, and the black males putting us on blast, I'm you too, will stare at me and not them. Jay, can you make that make sense for me? I get the meme mug, Jay. Did I lose you? Sound like we got government
Okay,
Charles.
I'm sorry. I had a malfunction with my phone, but we're scared of each other because I catch myself sometimes looking and see what's this dude on, what because we scared of each other for real.
Well, we had a lot of help crafting that narrative, so we ain't just do it on our own. I tell you that. So, but no. So, again, we talking about construction now. Out in Los Angeles, Bob Smith, he's he got a video on YouTube where he is really upset about how the Hispanic community is literally taking the jobs and then not even wanting to help bring the other brothers in and boost them up. ACS Group Incorporated is the largest global construction firm. ACS, you heard of them? And Governor Charles, I know you on too, so
No,
you can jump in too.
I don't know who that is or what that is.
Well, they're a global construction company that has their hands in a lot of construction in the U.S. and they're based out of Spain. So they're a Spanish group, a global Spanish group. And I got a feeling that they probably take care of their own. So that's just my perception. But what we're doing, and again, just jump in, chime in. What we're doing, I read this to you. Every January, we focus on the auto mechanics. What can we do to create a list of who single parents, women, young people that need anything fixed on their car? Let's create that list. And what with that list, we're gonna search out our mechanics and we're gonna pay our mechanics to fix it. Where's the money coming from? The money is coming from us pulling the dollar together to be there and support each other. So this is a way of us creating work for our mechanics because every January is our focus on auto mechanics. Every February is painters. So what we doing there? Who has a room that need to be painted can't afford it? So let's pull that list together. Let's put it in a bucket. We draw it. Whoever we draw, our painter is going to go in there and do that. March is carpenters who need a porch redid, who need some light carpentry work that we can get our carpenters some practice on. April is bricklayers. That front porch needed a few new stones put on there. Let's get the list. All right. May is welders. You got that fence coming to lose, that metal fence. We got Walter Collins, welder in West Inglewood. Let's get him over there, and that can be practice for him. June is electricians. That outlet don't work. You don't want it to catch fire. So let's make the list. So in June, our electricians can get at that. July is roofers. That's this month. Roofers, So let's make the list who need a roof. August is painters again. So painters is on there in February and in August. Our carpenters are again. They're there March and September. Our roofers is in there again. They're April and October. Plumbers is November, and then the mechanics is December as well as January. Let me pause there. What's your thoughts on that, Jay? You might be muted.
So my thoughts are you built the pipeline already. How responsive are those who are already in a database?
So the beauty is, and that's a great question. The beauty is this ain't nothing new. This is what we do, right? So we've done this and we've been in the game a long time. What we're doing now is we're now broadening that to include people outside our inner circle now. So what I mean by that, a good example is before it was just our elders. When Sister King called us and her pipes flooded, of course we go rally over there and take care of Sister King because that's family. We consider her family. She in the circle. But now what we're saying, because we are at a stronger place, now let's offer that to the block, to the zip code. What we've always done. Jay, you a female. if you called us and you worried about getting home, we would have sent somebody over there to make sure you get home. You got a male presence. This is what we always do, but now we're taking it to the block by block, more people who are not in the circle, if you will. So they're very receptive, and this is what we live in terms of being there for each other.
Okay.
Yeah. So now let me read to you what the flyer says for the roofers, and this is what went out to random houses this month. It says, "Are you in need of a roof now or in the future?" And they got four boxes. You need a roof now. You need a roof in 6 months. You need a roof in 6 months or next year. Or the last box is no, I'm good. I don't need a roof at all. And this just went out to random people. The purpose, because this month is roofing month, that's why we randomly sent this out to 108 houses just to see, and no one responded, so we take it everybody is good. At least we put it out there, and we'll revisit that again when it's roofing turn again. Next month we get ready to do the same thing for, I believe it's our painters. Yeah, so we'll be sending out who has a room that need painting now, in 5 years and 3 years, because we just want to make certain. The reason for this, we want to make certain that if our people are thinking about any dollars being spent, that we keep that in the black hands. That's the purpose of doing this, is so that it jars people's memory that we can do for self. We can support each other. And if you can pay full price, by all means. But if not, we will rally around supporting you. Same with landscaping and stuff. So for some of our elders, they can't afford to pay for landscaping. Well, we'll work that out. So unless you guys have any questions on that, we can move on to education now. Okay.
Okay. We can move on. I'm good.
Excellent. All right. So along the lines of education, is first I want to say this with regards to all of our young people. Uh, every single young person is valuable and brings something to society, even if they're right now off track. And I have to say that because some people are writing off young people. They don't want nothing. And we totally reject that notion. We believe everybody, no matter what they right now current situation is, they bring something to society. It is our role, and what we want to do is to make sure that we engage every single young person, and we find out which bucket to put them in, whether it's a bucket that they desire or a bucket that we feel like we can have more support coming to them. Because in some instances they don't know. But if I know we're strong with our painting group, and you don't know, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, right now I want you to work with our painting group. They in your zip code, just go over there 2 days a week, whatever. So if you don't know, we'll guide you, but you can always switch it up. But the bottom line, every kindergarten through 12th grader is already linked to different professions. And I want to put that up so people can see it. But even if you're outside of the 12th grade, you still bring something to society, and we want to know what it is you love doing so we can support that. Any thoughts on that? So I wanted everyone to see that as we talked about that. This was construction. So let's get rid of that one. Let's get to the education one so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Is it raining outside?
No, not
Okay.
here.
All right. So here we go right here. So this, like I said, the focus is to make super certain that every grade know that we have layers of support. And the purpose of that is so if they don't know what they want to do, and B, we already got some guaranteed audiences of people that we want to link them with. Now, because we're dealing with children, because we're dealing with in an environment where you got pedophiles and all that stuff, everything needs to come through me, come through our governors and the zip codes. So we just don't, because you're a plumber, give you a list of all the kids that want to be plumbers. We don't get down like that. So there's a linkage of what zip code you live in, so we can vet you through your interactions with the community. So like if you in Bronzeville, we know we got Jade over there, we got Doug over there, we got all these people. Somebody go know something. Somebody go have a connection somewhere. Your mama live in Inglewood. We got these people in Inglewood. So the beauty, the way we see it with screening our people is because we want to know your professional background, your family in Mississippi and Detroit, because we're so broad, we got all these tentacles that keep us all safer because we know a little bit more about you than what you may just put out there publicly. Any thoughts on that before we move on? Okay,
I'm good.
excellent. All right, good. So now got to talk about the awards. So these were the awards that should have gone out this month. And I got to tell you guys, whenever we disappoint the children, that really gets to me. I do not like disappointing the young people, and we have done that this month. So this month, $75 should have went to the seventh grade competition. As you can see, Monday, July 3rd, right after the holiday. And our seventh grade university, which is, did I list the blocks? Okay, I didn't list the blocks on here. But anyway, it's 60617 zip code. Uh, I say it this way: if we ignore this, if we continue to ignore this process, what's going to end up happening is seventh grade is what, 12, 13. In 2 years, the seventh grader could be the person at your door robbing and shooting you, robbing and shooting someone you love. Not that I don't like being that blunt, but we must make investments earlier instead of when they get older and they're taking on the rejection that we're giving them now. $75 may not seem like a lot, but to someone who never won anything, it's a big deal. Not to mention, it allows them to compete at every level, being the best in a zip code, then being the best in the city of Chicago, then competing in the region against Atlanta's seventh grader and Gary's seventh grader, then representing the region nationally. So when we talk about these awards, these competitions, it can boost someone with low self-esteem and make them feel really good about themselves. But we can't ignore this process. And unfortunately, our 60617 zip code, we hopefully can make this a little bit more serious. So, you guys got any thoughts on that?
No, but everybody loves a good boost of self-esteem. It's actually some professionals that's focusing on it.
Big time. Now, for those who might say, okay, Si, we well, no crying over spilled milk. Here we go right here. This is Tuesday, July 25th. It's posted. It is the $50 drawing for third graders. So now we missed seventh grade, we missed 11th grade. Now we got a chance next Tuesday to see if we're going to be able to put this money up for our third grade competition. All the professions linked to third graders are beauty supply stores. So any of our beauty supply stores can sponsor this $50. Any carpenter can sponsor it. Any U.S. Marine veteran or any restaurant owner. So my brother Doug at the new bakery there, we're gonna ask Doug them to sponsor third grade. We may even do it for this Tuesday, maybe. But the point is, if we do this and we get these sponsors in place, then the third graders know every single month they can be competing and winning. And then competing, we're going to be pushing love more than so-called just winning, that they enjoy interacting with each other, testing their skills when it comes to, in this case, spelling bees. And that's what we want to push on the award side. Any thoughts on that? Then we'll move on to the health side.
No.
All right. So Ena Jones is our superstar. She is Black sister from she in the Roseland area, but she has a store opening up at 6601 South Sangamon. And this is in 60621 zip code. And this queen is using her own money to remodel this place that the Arabs had before. And the city is giving setback after setback. So we're encouraging her and she does watermelons and meat from the South. She has a farm in Georgia. And so what we try to do is every zip code at least buy some watermelon. And we want to, pre-order the watermelon so that it can justify the trucks to bring it up. It can justify revenue going to her to continue building up this organic store that's going to be literally right in the heart of the hood. And Ina is our key person when we talk about health and the food intake, that we getting more food that's grown by us and not these companies that's putting a lot of preservatives in it because they want to ship it and keep it long term to where they can make more profits, because that's essentially what all that preserving does. What do you guys think about that? Anything? Any thoughts on that?
For that one, especially when you talked about the foods being grown by us, is there anything that you all know about having to register your farms and your gardens with the government?
So yes, and I say this: Cargill, ADM, Monsanto, these major, we talking $212 billion. The three of these companies make off of food. Their lobby is similar to the alcohol lobby, the gun lobby. And unfortunately, what they've been able to do is to go with their lobbyists and get laws changed to where you have to do what you just said. And I'm going to tell you right now, we need to recognize the game, recognize that we should reject all of that. We should not have to do that, because what is the purpose of that? What is the purpose of registering your garden? For what reason? Other than to create barriers, to create opportunities that if you don't do what they say, now they have a legal reason to come after you. And these for-profit giants, these are mammoth companies, they're the ones that's behind a lot of this. And we as Black people got to recognize we are the original farmers, and we shouldn't be letting these artificial companies come in and do that. So yes, they're coming up with all type of regulatory stuff for the farms. I personally think we gotta use our people like Ina and others to reject and push back and organize around not having to do that. What do you think about that?
So how come? Well, aren't we able to lobby as well, and do those different things to kind of stand up
Big
for
time.
that? Not even kind of, but
I know you
yeah.
being all nice about it. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So that's the quick answer. It's called Team Seven. Team Seven, number seven. Team Seven is food. Team Seven. And for those, I'm gonna read them all since you brought it up, Jay. But this gonna be for the benefit of others. Team One is our business people. That's what Team One is. Team Two is our protest people, our accountability people, people who get out there with the signs and yell and hold people accountable. Team three is our safety people. So when I talked about someone walking you home from the bus stop, that's team three. That's made up of police, firefighters, and military veterans. Team four is our students and our teachers, education. Team five is our construction people, which we just talked about. Team six is our race conscious people. So that could be white people, that could be Asian people, people who get it that we got to stand up for Black people. So that's more race, anti-racism. Team number six. Team seven is food, and team eight is legal and policy. Legal and policy. So if we talk from that structure, what you just said, what can we do? The question is, what is team seven in my zip code doing about it? What is team seven in North Lawndale doing? What is team seven in Inglewood doing? Because if we are constantly meeting people and putting them into the bucket, i.e., the team that they already are in because that's their passion, now we can go to them and ask the experts, what do you need from us? What can we do to support Team Seven's lawsuit against these companies? What can we do against the FDA? Because we're organized, and Team Seven, all these teams are nobody's organizations. So now we're not organizational gangbanging. It's just people who care about that subject matter. But by having that team number is universal. So in St. Louis, Team 7 is still food people. In Detroit, Team 7 is still food people. And food people should know what they're doing, creating these laws. And food people, Team 7 should be asking Team 8, how do we get the lawsuits ready? That's what Team 8 is, our lawyers, our judges, our politicians. So Team 7 being organized, talking to Team 8 so we can move. That's I'm glad you brought it up so people know that's how we could be operating without no organization being the lead. It's just us being organized dynamically. What do you think about that?
Understood.
So that is on our list. That's why I brought it up. So we are aware of the barriers that they're putting in place. We know two of our black groups got millions of dollars recently, so that's a good thing. The Inglewood Trails and that project down there, Growing Home, they got a lot of money, and then we got Blacks in Green. They got a lot of support, and what I would say for those leaders of those groups, always take the money. Harold Washington said, "Take the money." But we got to make sure that they don't try to control us. And that's where we come in to back you up and to be a voice when you may not be able to say anything, because that's where the funding is coming from. That's why we do not go after the grants, so that we can be able to criticize and critique no matter who it is based on what the people on the block say. So unless you guys got anything with that, we can move on to policy and legal.
Yeah, we can move on. I have some ideas. So can you make sure we touch bases later?
Of course. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. And don't feel like you got to stay on, because I'm gonna go through this anyway. So if you got to jump off, feel free to jump off. It's okay.
It's good for the family to listen to too. We on our way to Gizmos. Once we get
Wait,
there,
I've
I'll
been
hop
cussing.
off.
You ain't
But
tell me the family heard me cussing. Sorry, family.
they don't hear you for real. They're not. Oh,
Uh,
they sleep.
okay, well, you be
Oh,
safe. That's
okay.
it. All right. So policy slash legal is the last section that we have here. So again, team number 8 is our policy and legal team. And so one of the things that jumped out right away when we talk about policy is our report cards or our evaluation on our city council members. This is important. We don't send our children to school without an evaluation process being in place. At your job, wherever you work at, there's an evaluation process. That's how they determine if you're fulfilling the mission or not. So almost everywhere there's evaluation mechanisms in place when you're supposed to produce something. For our politicians, unfortunately, the evaluation period is a 4 year or 2 year cycle of whoever can put the word out the most on what I accomplished or what my group accomplished. And this is not satisfactory enough, because what can happen and what typically happens is once elected, then they chill out into the next election cycle, then they get active again. And so that's not a good model, because if they have that money, they can easily run TV ads, commercials. They can put billboards up. They can pay a few people to come out and speak highly of them. But we see it every day in our lives, the disconnect. And so when we talk about government report cards, any elected official that do not want to see a report card or an evaluation of their performance, to me, is unfit for the job. But it's not up to me. What do the people on the block say? And I believe most people are going to say, you are spending my tax dollars. I pay you. I want to be able to evaluate you more than just every 4 years. Let me pause there. Any thoughts on that from you guys?
I actually love that idea. How accountable one can be for that. That is a different level of organizing. So I believe, yeah,
So every second Friday is their report card day nationwide. So every second Friday, you should cast your perspective on your elected official. Now, we gotta, as an administration, we gotta get more structure behind it. But just so you know, Governor Brittany, who should be on, Governor Brittany is responsible for Chicago's report cards on the aldermen. So her and I talked throughout the month about how to make certain that every ward, black wards, we only focus on the black sections, are able to cast their thoughts on what the elected official did performance wise.
Okay, I like that. I want to start somewhere else with you though, but I like
Hmm.
that, and I would like to participate in it. Not so much. We'll talk, but
Yeah,
I do.
yeah,
I would like to be in contact with Governor Brittany.
yeah. And the beauty with anything we do it out of love. So we want the elected officials to say this is a good thing. Like any elected official that say this is a bad thing, then we would like to know the reason why. How is evaluating performance a bad thing? So we welcome all
It's all in how you do it. It's not what you do. It's how you do it.
but real clear. Here's the how, so everyone to know. 16 houses on the block. We ask 16 houses for their input. What they say should go. That way, we're not filtering it. We're not moving the needle. We're not influencing them. So the bottom line with any evaluation is: are they responsive? That's clear. For some people they may. For some people they may not be. Have they initiated anything that you benefited from? That's pretty clear. Either you touched me or you didn't. And then do you see them fighting for anything that your people and your block cares about? And people can add other stuff on that, but these are basic things. Are you responsive? That could be their office. That's a fair one. What are they doing in terms of what legislation, things like that coming up? And then what are they fighting for or against? Like right now, we're about to talk about this $51 million for the undocumented, the other money that's coming from the state. As an elected official, even if that's not your funds, where do you stand on the issue? What voice are you giving to us? So that's pretty unbiased perspective how you're performing, and it's up to the people on the block to say how they feel. So
Okay.
any
Okay.
yeah, so now let's
So
move.
yeah.
Oh no, go ahead, Jake.
Um. So I'll just connect with you so you can connect me to Governor Brittany, because
Yeah,
that's something I would like to do in my area,
big time.
especially because Barnesville is diverse. I feel like that'll be a good place to at least do it. Like, yeah, every second Friday each
Yeah,
month. I can do that once a month.
yeah. And Brittany needs that, because one of the challenges is that if we got to pull teeth to do it, then 1 month you might be up to it, next month you don't. But when you got a willing spirit behind it, that makes it easier. So and with the AI you tricked me on, we should be able to get more people, especially young people, to do their evaluations.
I got you.
All right, so now let's talk about the actual policies that's out there. We hinted on one of them, which is the food and the registration of the gardens and things of that nature. Along that same line, we have an ordinance already on the books that you're not supposed to have fencing over 6 feet. And we have in neighborhoods that's being gentrified, we have these tall fences going up where you can't see what's going on right on the other side of you. That's a problem. Engaging the people doing it can be dangerous. And so that's the benefit of code enforcement in 311 if you're in Chicago. So you don't have to engage them. You can just dial 311 and have code enforcement come out there and engage them, because they shouldn't be doing it. I'm not sure if there's a law in the books about chickens and roosters and goats, but this is an urban sector in Chicago. So I want to say those behaviors, we need to make sure that it is up to city code to have them. On 59th Street near Ashland, they had two goats running in the street. That's dangerous. Cars be flying around down there. You hit a goat, swerve, miss the goat, hit a kid. So we want to make sure people coming in these neighborhoods operate within the confines and they don't bring behaviors where they come from into the urban sector without first getting the blessing and make sure it's legal. Any thoughts on those two things?
And you're referring to near back of the yard over there where what's going on with
Right. This
our friends.
59th Street. So now, so the migration of the South Americans coming up and Mexico. The key, I think, is uh, if you are coming into any environment, are you coming for one or two reasons? Are you coming to assimilate, and that means you're gonna merge into the fabric already there, or are you coming to assume and take over? So it might be some middle ground there, but for me, if you're coming to assimilate, then you be real careful when you start putting proclamations up, putting flags up, putting a tall fence up. Like if I'm coming in the neighborhood and I erect a real tall fence, I'm telling you I don't want to be bothered. Like that, if I'm off, let me know. But to me, that's a declaration, even if it is privacy, But I just think we're not dealing with assimilation. We're dealing with ungratefulness of takeover, to me. But again, is what the block say, not what Sai say. Any thoughts on that? So laws on the
Um,
books. Oh, go ahead.
I said, I heard you though. That's something I gotta let that one marinate.
Yeah, and with the laws on the books, because the key again, any human being, any of our people can state how they feel, and we should make certain that before we take any action, we vet it through what the blocks say. If it's 16 houses, did we try to get all 16? What is it? 10 to 6? Is it, what I mean? No one wants it. Like, what do the people say? Because if not, now you're being a dictator. And we think that's the key is what does the block say, not what dictators say. So one of the things that I'm definitely, from a policy standpoint, I think Black Chicago need to ask ourselves, do we want to remain a sanctuary city? Gary, Indiana, that's 83% Black, is a sanctuary city. And I don't see the benefit. I don't see how that helps when we have unfinished business. That don't mean we can't be a welcoming city, a sanctuary city later, but it's first things first. And I think we haven't dealt with that first. And right now we have the Syrians who came here because of what happened in Syria, and they got refuge here. They got taxpayer funding. Then we had the Ukrainians right now and the undocumented. So for some reason, everyone else's crisis appears to be more important than what Black people continue to deal with. And it's almost to the point where they're blatantly saying that Black lives don't matter. When the schools were closed in the first place, that helped usher out people leaving, and now to open the schools up, to have people in police stations. And again, all of this is happening because there's a welcoming flag that says sanctuary, you can come here, but sanctuary costs money. And if we're saying we can't afford reparations to repair the wrongs of the past, how can we afford what we're doing now? To me, it's a blatant, in your face disregard for your lives. And the sad thing is, Black mothers are carrying their sons 9 months and watching them die before they die. And death trumps anything else. And so when we talk about quality of life, when you got Black boys out here dying at the rate that they've been dying, and it's almost just normal and not a big deal, we put other people's lives in front of that. So I do think that's a law we got to get adjusted in Chicago, and we'll ask the people on the block what they think about it. Any input on that from you guys?
No.
All right. Last thing I'm gonna say on the policy part. There's there's in South America, and we was looking at the numbers, and I want to just put this on the record. Colombia in South America, 26% of the whole country is Afro Colombians. That's bigger than America. Here we're 13% of the US population. They're 26%. There's 11 million Afro-Colombians in Colombia. I'm almost 50 and didn't know that. In Venezuela, there's 1.2 million Afro-Venezuelans. Brazil, the largest country in the whole continent, every country, all 12 countries touch, 10 out of 12 touch Brazil. Only two don't. Ecuador and Chile don't touch Brazil. Brazil has 109 million Afro Brazilians, yet and still they're not in the government. It's the white Brazilians. So you can't tell me that there's no man made, um, manufactured way that we do not see the Afro Brazilians trying to get here, the Afro Colombians trying to get here, and the Afro Venezuelans trying to get here. In Mexico, we have Afro Mexicans who, again, are staying in the most neglected parts of Mexico and Venezuela. They live in the worst parts of these countries. Why aren't they trying to move up here? We have more Haitians, Belize trying to come up, but why aren't those people trying to come? And that's a question that I love to see their scientific study to see the results, because what I think it is, I think is part of, unfortunately, the continuation of keep black people marginalized and on the bottom. So that I'd close out on that, but let me get if you got any thoughts on that to share before we move on, Charles or Jake.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be an interesting study. I like that topic. Like, is it just because they don't know or they don't want to? I don't know.
A lot of these other people don't know either, but they got help, and that's what I believe. But like you say, that's a study that I doubt if they go commission that, because it'll tell what we really dealing with. All of our Mexican brothers and sisters, majority of them have at least 4% African ancestry to them. They're a mixture of Europe and indigenous and African, but for some reason they choose to speak Spanish when they can choose to speak Swahili or the African part of their mixed ancestry, but they're choosing, unfortunately, the same way Argentina chose to erase all traces of any African ancestry. Like literally, blacks in Argentina is gone, and we gotta ask the question, why? Is it that much hatred for black, for African, that you're gonna erase that history totally? So it's the anti-blackness that we really got to make sure we're paying attention to, because when we see Chicago's migration, New York migration, it's not the Afros that's coming up here, and that is not just happenstance. Like, are they the Afros think they tough enough to stay in their country and find a way to make it better, and the non-Africans are the ones leaving? Like, we need to look at what's the draw. How is it that it's not the Afros in these places coming up here? So enough of that. Let's move on to the voter registration. Brittany is also responsible for voter registration. We work with Evangelism with Grace, Elder Lanyard Smith, Apostolic Church there on 630 Dorchester. So voter registration is key. You being young, Sister Jade, this is a big deal. When they turn 17, let's make sure they get registered in every zip code. Do we know who the 17-year-olds are, so we can have them ready in the pipeline to get them registered? Then they need to know numbers like what I just shared with you. I was in tears today when they show what cobalt, that mineral cobalt, is being used for, which is everything solar, everything electric vehicles, and how the world is using Congolese children, letting them mine this with their hands, no shoes on, and this stuff is deadly all by itself, and letting them die so that we have an iPhone, so that we can have electric vehicles, so we can have solar panels. And a lot of people are complicit with it, but it boils down to Black lives not mattering. Why we are let us save the planet from the sun, but let those black kids in Congo die. It's an issue that we on our end, as Africans living over here, need to become more aware of, so we can start pushing and holding these companies that's looking the other way, Apple, Microsoft, Google, hold them more accountable to at least saying, just like they did blood diamonds, uh, where's this cobalt coming from? How do you make sure that our people aren't over there without boots and suits on mining this stuff? So that's something why we want to make sure during voter registration drives, Black children know that this, the way the world is set up, we need you to be aware. We need you to know how we're being marginalized and played on every front. So when you register, you can start to vote or even run yourself so that we can be a more conscious voter, not just, a monolithic voter where we give one group 90% of our vote. Any thoughts on that, Jay or Charles?
Mm, okay. Yeah, 'cause I didn't know that. I mean, you see stuff, but you always take what you see on social media as just something like you just pass by it. Like it's not our everyday struggle. So it's not something that we pay attention to. So even if you were to educate, because it's not what we're programmed to receive or take in or put into our, internal databases,
Right.
like how well it will this, be received. So you
Yeah.
just got to be someone who's willing to put your feet on the ground and do the work. So
Yeah.
like I said, we will talk because at least you know we'll talk. We'll talk.
Now here's, I appreciate that, and people need to hear that voice from you. So your country in Bronzeville is linked to Nibia in Africa, Nibia. So the beauty, the way God got us structured, it allows us to walk and chew gum at the same time. So we can fight 20 issues at a time, 20, because there's 20 zip codes. So right now, your zip code, Nibia in Africa, has already got Germany to agree to pay $1.3 billion in reparations for what Germany went over into Nibia and did in terms of decimating the two different tribes over there. But they reneged. They said, nah, we're not going to pay you that. So that's a fight for Bronzeville children if they agree. Congo is Washington Park, 60615 zip code. That's Governor Joe and the people in that zip code. When we do our pennies to Africa from there, you go to support Congo. And that's the fight for the cobalt with Joe now. Roseland, Governor Charles is on here now. Roseland is linked to South Africa. Right now in South Africa, what's happening over there, 80% of the Africans are being controlled financially by 10% of the whites who theoretically shouldn't even be there. They should be returning the land. And the whites said, if you take our keyword, our farmland, if you take it without paying us, we're going to tell the world to not buy your products, your vegetables, your whatever you grow there. And they got an example because they did that in Zimbabwe. When Zimbabwe took the land and gave it back to them, Australia quit buying the produce. So what Roseland should be doing, and we go work with them to do, is to make certain that we say we're going to keep America buying products from South Africa, even if they take the land from the people who never should have had it in the first place. So what I'm saying to you is it's a lot going on, and it's easy to say, where do I start? We've already answered that question because of your zip code. So in Ghana, right now in Ghana, it's a chocolate war. The American company is over there paying to make sure blacks are separated with the chocolate. If you go to Dollar General, you see where it say European chocolate right there when you check out. There's no European chocolate. Chocolate don't grow in non-tropical environments. There's no chocolate growing in Europe. It's too cold. But they going into Africa and Ghana, taking the chocolate, then putting their name on it, and got us over here buying it. So that's what the West Side, East Garfield Park, being linked to Ghana, they fight that war. So what I'm saying is it's a lot. So when we talk young people to register, they can be overwhelmed, but they don't have to be. Go to your lane, whatever your zip code is, and just focus on that. Because we under attack from all angles. So you can get overwhelmed. But the beauty is your zip code got something already on the menu. You can just anchor that one thing. What do you think about that?
Hey, that helps. Cause that I'm at the adult point in life where I need that lane. And, I'm saying, it's being revealed to me. It was made already. So,
Yeah.
it's
Nah,
just
thank you for
getting
that.
the passage a little clearer. Yep.
Thank you for that. Yeah. And people needed to hear that. That's why I'm glad you brought it up so we can get that out there on the airways. And this is recorded so they can watch it later. Because honestly, what we really up against, like we really up against the and spiritually they say the principalities. Like we up against structures and systems, not individuals. Like I love everyone, whites, blacks, Mexicans. I love everyone. I want everyone to win. But I do know that these certain structures have been erected by evildoers, some real evil people who don't mind death as long as they make a profit. Those are people that I got no mercy for, and I will go hard to make sure we bring them structures down and their systems. There's no reason that people out here starving. There's no reason people out here homeless, and you got people spending $5 million for a picture, a photo. No, no, we're gonna flip that around, and we're gonna flip it around by helping blacks. See, when you help blacks, brown go get help automatically. When you help those on the bottom, everyone can stand on that floor now. so so I want to be real clear why it's critical, because them same evil people, them evil structures that exist, they really don't care about their own people. We just the easy target because we in land that God put these natural resources in, and they want them and they rather be there. So they concocted these schemes to keep hurting those people so they can keep accessing those minerals and those the things that grow in warmer climates that's so close to the equator, because that's what it really boiled down to. so so it's all good. We go make it by being highly organized and everyone having a carve out a lane so they don't burn out, because this is some heavy global stuff. This is some
Yes, it is.
real worldly, this is world stuff here. And the sad thing, every year since 1999, the 20 richest economies in the world, they sit down and meet, and they rotate the meetings around the country. This year is in Indonesia. I should be in India. I should be going. And they meet. And the reason they're meeting is to keep blacks on the bottom. Ain't that heavy? Like, don't that hurt?
Mm.
The world
No,
meets. The
Well,
world
it
meets,
don't
and it's to
hurt.
keep you on the
yeah,
bottom. It
well,
hurt me.
Charles, this is Governor Charles. How you doing, Queen, on the phone? Yeah,
How you
but
doing?
all right. But anyway, as we said, it wouldn't be fair for them to, just like we talking about G20, and that's something to really think about is you all saying this is heavy stuff because the richest country with the most resources ain't even invited because they in there raping it.
Yep.
Africa
Yep.
is one of the strongest countries. Now, wouldn't you, if you have a summit like that, wouldn't you want the strongest country to be in it? But they can't do it because they too busy raping it. All of them.
Yep, yep. Nah, it's and that's why for black people we gotta know we can't really afford to fight amongst ourselves. Like I always tell people, we have a global structure and system working against us. So I'm not mad at no black person, even if I don't agree on your philosophy, the way you do business, and all of that. I understand that when you and I die, these structures still exist. when me and you dead, G20 still exists. They still gonna meet. And these people that meet, they're gonna talk about how to grow their economies. That's the purpose of their meeting, is to grow their economies. Well, guess what? To grow their economies, they got to keep taking the cobalt out of Africa. They got to take the diamonds out of Africa. They got to take the gold. They got to take the silver. They got to take. Their meeting is about how to keep taking. It ain't about reparations. They first meeting should have been about how to repair the wrong. so, so God willing, if I get there, my conversation is, why y'all meeting if you ain't talking about repairing the wrong? That's the only thing to talk about is getting it right, because anything else you do is built on a faulty background. It's built on a false plane. Anything else you do is out of whack, because the core, the root, the foundation is off center. And this it's gonna be on black people to organize ourselves to get information because we got the structure already to get information, pull that dollar together. We 50 million strong. We should be $50 million a month to take team 1 through 7, team 1 through 8, and tackle all these attacks that we're under. Instead of us right now, the way it is now, everyone is doing my own thing, and the enemy loves that. They love it when you got 5 events to do on Saturday, because that mean ain't none of them events go get your full attention. All of them go get a piece of
Man, I just stay at home. I be like, oh, nah, somebody will fill me in. Hey, somebody met somebody that introduced me to it. It's okay, and then I help them from there.
Yep, yep, yep. That it's the merry-go-round. They got us on the merry, and Chicago is the toughest in America. It's so much happening. And if you go back, you probably too young. I'm 30 years in the game. They was busy back in 1999. They was busy, so it's like, wow, we busy, but where we going? We just running around in circles until you die. Then when you die, they memorialize you. Then they have fun as soon as you gone. It was at the repast. Like I've seen this, and this is why. That's why the zip code structure it matters the most, because what it does, it lets us be in alignment so we can tackle the issues, and the zip code gonna constantly have new people come in, and the new people is the replenishment. That's how we keep it going. It's like Notre Dame. They got students, they graduate, the new students coming in. It's an institution. It keeps repeating. We gotta have the same thing. It can't be about no one structure, no one organization. What's the process? The process is supreme. That means one step after the next step. Process, not organization. When I hear organization, I shake my head because you 400 seconds away from death. Then what? Who gonna keep going what you doing? Probably nobody. So we want to educate our people on how to fight this fight, and also how to build our own structures and systems so we got sustainability and not this emotional, which we need. We should have feel good stuff, but we got to keep that in the right context and don't think that that's going to move the needle, because the those people those people in these structures, they will kill you if you're going to go against and have the wherewithal to move a lot of people against what they need to keep going. And that's why we seen Mega Evers and Malcolm X, and those people was able to galvanize to a point where they became a threat, and that's when you meet the bullet. The beauty what God has done with us is he allowed us to attach solutions to zip codes. Now, you show me any of them that can come and kill a zip code. They can fly the plane over there all they want. Everybody ain't in the zip code when you fly the plane over there and try and poison the air. Some of them downtown. So you're not going to get rid of the zip code, and that's the key. We attach in every zip code what we need to be working on. So it sustains no matter what. And then we put the time to it on when to do it. So now you can't stop every Friday Seniors Day. I don't care if you Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, the richest man in the world, Friday go come. So you can't stop time. So that's the beauty we learned from our ancestors who got killed fighting for our people. And now we got predictability with our timing and guarantee audiences with our zip codes that they won't be able to stop. And ain't no organization. This is zip codes and behavior based on time. So enough preaching. Sorry about that. All right.
Hey, look, it's there though. It's there, and I need to know it so I could be able to articulate it. Because, like you said, the organization. If don't nobody know about it, then who gonna keep it going? So
Yeah.
I really, really, I'm ready for a big conversation with you. So when we get off, I do want to talk.
Now, you inspire me. Charles is older than me, and I'm older than you, and we got to keep passing down, because you're going to be here longer than us. And the more we get into you, you can get into the next generation. You got children, so this is what it's about. We got to do our part while we got time before it's time for us to move on, and we got to make it better for them. So, in closing, the Gary, Indiana conventions, I want to just speak on that. And then this month, the second Saturday was the police convention. The next Saturday was the first one is the religious convention. Then the second was the police convention. The third one was the truck drivers convention, and the fourth one is the lawyers convention. The conventions are all in Gary on purpose because remember, the enemy want to take out the organization. We said based on the zip code, the city, this is what you're responsible for. Gary is responsible for all conventions. So that gives us a reason to have everyone travel here from all over the country, come to Gary, build Gary up. It's 83% black. Let's build Gary up, have a vibrant city that's black that we can all build up and own real estate in. So we want to show people how to do that later. But those four conventions this month, all Gary. Next month is our political convention. Next month is our military convention. It's our karate convention and our marketing convention. So the sister you named, we want to get her on the Zoom for the marketing convention. And all these conventions are designed to bring our retirees, adults, and young people for every industry together. All right. The next one is Saturday, February 25th. 26, I mean, that's the next F through K last name summit. All right, closing remarks from you guys, and we can be out of here.
No, nice to meet you, Brother Charles. And I look forward to having a conversation with you, Side.
Yes, me too. So thank you.
Nice to meet you as well, sister.
So that's our Bronzeville governor. So y'all didn't refer to each other as governors. That means something. 60653 and 60628.
You know, I couldn't get on the Zoom at first because the linkage. So I didn't have a chance to, really greet or meet the governor. What's your name again? Hello?
I'm Jade.
Jade. Jay with a J, right? JV.
JDE.
DE. Okay, Jade. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm Governor Charles of the Rosen area in New Bronzeville. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay, it's a pleasure to meet you, Governor Jade.
And she tricked me with all this videos of her in DC. So I'm thinking we finna connect her with all our DC links. She told me that was artificial intelligence.
It was.
Wow.
I ain't gonna lie about it, but I really do. I love me some AI. Because I don't talk to a lot of people, and I get to having ideas, and I put in my AI, and I have fun with it.
Charles, you can see she's young, so we gonna benefit from that.
Yeah. Me myself, I'm the reverse. I hate old technology.
Yeah, I'm around a lot of people that do. So, that's what makes because I also have a nonprofit. The name of it is Young Gifted Hustler. So that's fast paced, I'm all for social impact. So I help mission driven businesses, entrepreneurs, and organizations how to amplify their impact. And so I do some project development, curriculum development, along with some other tailored services. So we just do a needs analysis. Yeah. And it's data driven.
You education. I mean, I'm an educator myself.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, I work in CPS.
I just did some Canva workshops. Yep.
Okay.
I just did some workshops. So if you want to try to make a flyer, or you need somebody to learn how to make a flyer for you, I do. I have some training that you can benefit from.
That is good. I love it.
So actually his zip code, Jay, that's how the broader piece, so yeah, you show him, and then all the people his zip code got a pipeline to you. So that's how we do. All right.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
All right. See you guys.
Right,
thanks for joining.
Love.
Talk to you soon. All right. Bye-bye.